Hi, and welcome to Meet the Merchants. I'm your host, Jeff Demand. This week, we're going to have a lot of fun over at Full Swing in Prescott Valley. Then it's off to visit our friends at the Ascend School. Then we're going to head over to the Verde Valley for all things under the sun at Verde Solar. But first, let's learn about branding a business and pay a visit to Caddis Branding. Prescott Valley, we're going to be meeting with Quang Nguyen. He owns a company called Caddis Branding, LLC. We're going to learn what branding a business is all about. Hi, Jeff Demand from Meet the Merchants.
Quang, how are you,
Quang,
sir?
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming by.
Hey, thanks. I'm anxious to see what you have going here. You're working from home today.
I'm working from home today, and you're lucky today. We do have one of my latest clients, and we're going to go through a project. So if you don't mind spending a little bit of time.
No, I'd love to. Let's go to your office.
Let's go do it.
And we're in Quang's home office today because you get a chance to work from home. But, you know, Quang, why don't you tell us, I don't think a lot of people know exactly, we hear the term branding, especially when it's put to business, but what is exactly branding?
Well, usually when we talk about branding, a lot of people just think that, it's about my logo. That, why don't you just design me a logo? Brand goes a whole lot deeper than that. It's a philosophy of business. Branding strategies actually is the foundation of all business and marketing strategies. It's who you are, who you worked for, what you've done, how you project yourself in business, how you project yourself to the clients, and how do you grow your business.
If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm starting a business, when is the time that I come and approach you?
One of the first thing is to approach a branding agency. That's the very first thing. Obviously.
So if I'm just even in the conception stage of starting a company, I should give you a shout.
Well, obviously, I'm going to assume that you know what you want. You know what you're doing. You know what kind of product. And you have done some market research on your own. Now it gets to the point where I'm ready to introduce my product. The first set of people that you really want to see is a branding agency.
Caddis Branding is more than just designing a logo for a new company. Quang Nguyen is an accomplished artist who not only designs a company logo, but also incorporates the entire business philosophy into the branding process.
When we work with a client, we go through an educational process. And when I say educational process, I mean the client actually teaching me about what they do and how they do it. Then it's my job to say, okay, if this is what you do, and this is the marketplace, and this is where you are in the market, and these are the potential clients, what kind of image would I come up with to fit a defined guideline? The guideline is actually dictated by a combination of research, the clients, and we put together this guideline. And once we agree on the guideline, it is my responsibility to bring in the creative process to meet that guideline. So for example, if somebody said, all of my clients love blues, different shades of blue, my responsibility is to follow that guideline and not bring in, say, a pink color.
Quang is a true American dream story as he came to the States in the early 70s from war-torn Vietnam to pursue citizenship and realize his dream. With now over 25 years' experience in branding companies, Quang and his team have developed an impressive list of clientele. You have a product that you're working on today. Matter of fact, your client's here and ready to go for a meeting, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time. We're going to watch you at work.
Hey, Mike, thanks for coming today. And I know we've been on a project for about 6 months now. So,
my name is Mike Nelson. I'm the president of America's Defenders Coins, and I'm here today to meet with Caddis Advertising to do some final brand development and website development for my company.
This is where the company started over 6 months ago, and so we were able to take the new brand we developed, your guidelines, your images, and so you ready for this?
Absolutely.
All right, this is what we're looking at right now. Okay.
Wow.
So here's
talk about a radical makeover.
Here's the incorporation of your new brand, and so, I try to stay away from the word logo because the logo is so narrow in what it is. It's
yeah,
just
we discussed that. It's kind of confining or restraining.
We're talking about the overall image of the brand. And seeing how you are a member of the U.S. Army Rangers, we do have the image of the Rangers, but we also cover all of the people that serve America in one way or another. So down here we have the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, the police, and firefighters. We want to make sure that we feature all of them because they are all part of America's defenders.
So you were able to capture something that we didn't understand, but now I see it here before me. And I just wanted to highlight, you took the focus point that our company, 80% of our company, are former U.S. Army Rangers and
Right.
combat veterans.
Right.
So you were able to render something that shows, hey, not only is this America's Defenders coins, here's our brand and here's our company, right in the center of our website. You were able to render something that we talked about for months in hours of conference calls, that this company was started by former Rangers, and you've captured that in the head banner of our website. And one of the things that you were able to develop for us and get us to buy in on and understand, and we totally trusted you with this, is you not only took the name of our company, America's Defenders Coins, but you translated exactly what we wanted as a concept into the bottom spectrum banner of our website right here. And a lot of America has forgotten since 9/11/01 that America's defenders include not only the military, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the Air Force, but there's a lot of unsung heroes in America's defenders to include the Coast Guard, every day in our towns across America, the police, and also the firefighters. So right here we have the entire spectrum of America's Defenders coins, and eventually we will offer products and support these other defenders in America, but our company was started by Rangers and we started with Ranger coins. You were able to capture our company's vision and translate it into a website. I think this is far beyond any of our expectations, and I'm really excited to get on that conference call with my board members tonight.
Exactly.
And share with them what you've been able to deliver.
Well, Kwong, I've learned more about branding. I didn't even know what branding was, and now with all the emotion and the philosophy and everything and the marketing and the proper artwork behind that, it really gives me just the full circle now of what branding is all about. Also very, very important to any new business that's going out there. You want to get the proper branding.
Right. And I really appreciate your time. You give me a great opportunity for exposure here, both for my clients, my company, my philosophy, and I hope you come back again and visit with us.
We sure will. We'll follow up with you. Thanks so much, Kwong.
Thank you for your time, Jeff. I appreciate it.
And of course, we'll have a link at the bottom of your screen to Caddis Branding Agency. We'll be back with more on Meet the Merchants right after this. Interested in your business becoming part of Meet the Merchants? Visit our website at meetthemerchants.net to find out how. Today's Nonprofit to Visit segment is sponsored by Full Swing Sports Center. Whether you want some batting practice, improve that golf swing, or bungee jump on a trampoline, there's 9,000 square feet of indoor fun to be had. That's Full Swing Sports Center, located at 2555 Crown Point Drive, right off Highway 69 in Prescott Valley.
Hi, I'm John Redding. Welcome to Full Swing Sports Center. Full Swing Sports Center believes that taking our advertising dollars and putting it into sponsorship of local teams is the best way to get the word out. We get word of mouth from that. We're able to give back to the community, and the dollars stay right here in the different cities. We've sponsored teams in Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, Prescott, Dewey-Humboldt, boys, girls, adults. But we feel it's our best opportunity to keep it right here locally. Well, some of the games we have at Full Swing Sports Center are the 6-in-1 Sports Simulator, which the most popular game by far is Zombie Dodgeball, where you're interacting with a video game. So there's exercise involved, and we get kids moving. We've got a football game, a baseball game, a couple of basketball games, arcade type, and then a golf simulator where you can play one of 12 different courses. You can do a full 18 holes, or you can work on your swing at the driving range. A couple of junior basketball games, a small air hockey for the smaller kids, a 4-way air hockey for families to play each other, a bungee trampoline, which gets used a lot more than I ever thought it would, and air hockey, the old standby. It still works, everybody loves it, and it's my favorite game in the building. We've got some of the trophies that our teams that we sponsor, they've won, and they display them here in a case up front. We've got mixed breed, adult men's softball team. They have several trophies in here. We've got some from the Bat Busters, a youth girls team that goes traveling around the state playing in tournaments. They're very good at what they do. They even supplied a bat to thank us for our sponsorship, signed by all the players. We look forward to you coming in and seeing some of the trophies that we have on display here. The teams have won, and keep them here so that everybody can see them in the community and see how they support Full Swing as we support them. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary on October 19th with cake and pizza for everyone. It was a fast year, it went quickly. Everybody had a lot of fun. We were shocked to see the response we got from the community. They really appreciated us being here, and we really appreciated them coming out and helping us. It's been a good year. We're hoping year number 2 is even better.
Sitting with me today is Angie Levin. She's the director of the Ascend School, and that's specializing in autism. It's children with autism. An interesting fact that just came out of the government, 2% of kids in the educational system right now suffer from autism. And we hear that word all the time, but why don't you tell us a little bit what autism is?
It's funny you said that, Jeff. I just saw a posting on the web this morning that was put out, that an Arizona statistic that's now saying 1 in 64 in Arizona are being diagnosed with autism. And the previous statistic being 1 in 88, which was the most recent put out nationwide, but in Arizona they're claiming as high as 1 in 64.
If you don't have an autistic child or an autistic family member, autism is kind of just a word that we hear.
Sure.
Tell us what autism is.
Autism is hard, can be somewhat difficult to explain. It's usually diagnosed through what we call a cluster of symptoms. So it's more looking at a child and their behavior and looking at this grouping of symptoms to try to come up with a diagnosis. Typically what you're going to see is a fairly significant delay in the development of speech skills, language development, social skills, and eye contact. And then you will also usually see some type of repetitive or stereotypic behavior. You might see the kids that you see flapping or spinning or twirling.
Let's get into Ascend a little bit. Does Ascend deal with more severe cases, or is it the full spectrum?
We set out originally to probably deal with that more severe end of the spectrum, but what we're finding is that we have become kind of a microcosm here, that just because of various issues with different school districts that are in need of programs or certain kids that aren't fitting into certain programs, we actually have, over the course of the last 6 years, at different times, we have serviced children on all ends of the spectrum, from the very, very severely affected to the very, very high functioning.
One thing I noticed in the mission statement of Ascend is that you do focus in on the talents they have and a lot of positive reinforcement.
ABA by nature, applied behavioral analysis, behavioral psychology, positive behavior support, if you follow all those methodologies, it very much follows a model that we teach everything by taking a very difficult skill, breaking it down into very, very small components, and then teaching those components systematically one at a time with lots of motivation and reinforcement for every attempt at an effort toward that skill. So we really capitalize on, trying to capitalize on the motivation of each individual child first and foremost. What motivates them?
One thing I found very impressive is the teacher-student ratio. You're not getting into a classroom with 25
No,
kids. You're
no.
basically one-on-one.
Exactly, exactly. And the students are placed appropriately at that level. Most every student here is placed in their IEP that they are provided with a one-on-one paraprofessional that's with them all day long. And they're high needs, so that they need that extra support to kind of get them through the day, and it's really important. And we find that that's how the most progress is made. And it has allowed us to take kids that were truly at a very rough spot, and with a couple of years I have had some kids be able to integrate into much. We just actually, on Monday of this week, we integrated a student back into a local school district who actually only was with us for one semester. But we were able to get his behavior stabilized with a lot of one-on-one attention, low sensory environment, and he was able to reintegrate back into his public school setting after one semester. So
Which
we
is
feel
the
like
goal of what you're trying to do.
That is the goal of what we're trying to do, absolutely.
And here we are in Prescott. Is it just serving Prescott in its area, or?
Not at all. We are truly, I would say, we can call ourselves a Yavapai County school because we have students coming from Chino Valley, Humboldt Unified, Kirkland Elementary, we've had them from Yarnell, and we currently just accepted a student from Cottonwood that drives over from the Verde Valley, and we've had a prior student from Sedona as well. So we are even serving students from the opposite side of the mountain.
If I'm a parent with a child who has autism and he's in the public school and I want to look into Ascend, what can I do?
There's two different options of ways you can look at Ascend. You can, if things are rough or not going well within your public school setting where you're at, you have that right to call for an IEP meeting with your team, your IEP team, and discuss other alternative placement situations with your district. And you're always, as a parent, have that right to bring that up and talk about Ascend as an option. That's one way to go about it. And then the other option that's come up recently in Arizona, which is kind of an interesting thing that we've seen, is what's known as the Empowerment Scholarship Account, which is a kind of a different way of doing things, and that's available to students that have an IEP that have been within an Arizona public school, but maybe just aren't real happy with the things they're going. They have a right to actually apply for this scholarship and apply for 90% of the funding that the public school would be receiving, and then they can actually take that fund and take their student and privately place their student at a private school of their choice as a privately placed student.
You are a 501c3, and we
Yeah.
have heard you talk about grant writing. And
Right.
I'm sure some of the schools,
Forever.
the state funding comes with some of the students, but there are a lot of probably private donations. And if somebody wants to help out Ascend, how do they go about doing it?
Probably the easiest way, we're set up to donate on the website. That's probably the quickest, easiest way. It's a hard time for fundraising, obviously, right now. So I love the idea that you guys have taken on about spotlighting nonprofits, because it has been challenging, obviously, in this economy for all of the nonprofits to go about their fundraising efforts. So just getting the word out is really helpful.
Of course, the donations are tax deductible.
They are tax deductible. They surely are. And we always invite people to come out and see the school. It's an interesting thing, and it definitely tugs at the heartstrings when people come out and visit. They are experiencing a whole new world that I think they may not be aware of, for sure.
Well, I know that you've tugged at our heartstrings,
Well,
so
that's
we
great.
want to thank you
Well, thank
and
you.
your staff for all the wonderful work they do.
Well, they are amazing. I am in awe of what they do every day. Every day.
We want to thank Angie Levin and her wonderful staff and all the great work they do here at Ascend. Be sure to join us next week when we'll have another segment on NPTV right here on Meet the Merchants. Interested in your business becoming part of Meet the Merchants? Visit our website at meetthemerchants.net to find out how. With over 300 days of sunshine in Arizona, solar power is the way to go. We're in the Verde Valley in Cornville. We're talking to Greg Collins of Verde Solar Power. And good morning, how are you?
Glad to have you here.
And tell us a little bit about, most of the time when you think of solar power, you think of just completely going off the grid and generating your own power, but that's not always necessarily
That's
the
the
case.
old days. Now everything is, we're probably 95% plus on-grid power, where we cooperate with utilities, and it makes for the most cost-effective, reliable, and efficient way to harvest solar energy and reduce your electric bills.
So basically, it's cost reduction is what you're after if you're still on the grid.
Well, the primary thing is harvesting the solar power most effectively, and it does it. It has the side benefit of saving you money, and they're extremely reliable as a result of not having any batteries involved, and very efficient. So it's the way everybody's doing it these days.
Is it only working when the sun's up for those hours throughout the day, or?
Yes, you're just harvesting the power. You're pushing it. You're either using it yourself at that instant, or you're pushing it out on the grid for your neighbors to use. Your utility measures that and gives you credit for it. You can then use that credit at night so that it's offsetting your bill.
Big push to go green in the United States right now. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing more customers coming in and investigating solar power?
Well, everybody realizes that we need to do something besides drill holes in the bottom of the ocean, send coal miners to their deaths. And we need to do something that's sustainable in the long term, which is solar energy is really the only long-term solution.
How affordable is it?
Well, over the life of the system, which is these panels have 25-year life, you will spend half as much installing this solar system as if you just keep on paying the utility company.
So are you basically leasing the equipment to people? Is that how it's working?
That's
or?
a common way it's done. On the job that we're working with you on, that was a leased job. Probably 2/3 to 3/4 of all the solar systems, residential solar systems that are being put in Arizona and California right now in the past few years have been leased.
Well, let's go up to Flagstaff and take a look at the installation of the solar system.
All right, this is our first day on the job. We're just trying to get oriented with the homeowner, and which we've done, and then get started on the mounting system. The most critical part of the whole job is making sure we don't cause any leaks in the roof. We're going to be putting about 40 holes in his roof.
Putting mounts in, staggering them on the top row, so it distributes the load a little better over the roof surface.
This is the marvel of technology known as an inverter. It's what converts the DC power coming out of the array into your AC house power. The reason it's called an inverter is it's inverting the current flow. The power coming out of the solar panels is just a nice constant. The current just flows continuously in a loop. But motors don't like that kind of power, so our whole electrical system is built on AC power, where the current is constantly changing direction. And so that's what this does. And this conduit's the DC coming down off the array. Have black frames, black cells, and a black backing. So it makes them look really nice. Junction box, it's what makes our connection through the roof.
I said earlier, we have over 300 days of sun in Arizona a year, which is pretty amazing when you, I mean.
Yeah, if you look on a map of what's called the solar insolation, and the kind of the standard for that is the National Renewable Energy Labs in Colorado puts out the data where you look at a map of the United States showing how many effective hours of sunshine you get here in central and really the Mojave Desert and on over into central Arizona where we're at. We get about 6.5 hours a day of effective full sun. We are the best in the nation for sunshine. And as opposed to Germany gets like 2.5, and yet they're doing 10 times as much solar as we are. It's really, you know, if Germany can do it, anywhere in the United States can do it. They have the effective climate of Western Oregon, you know. So it really devolves down to the commitment and will of the nation to get off of the old power sources and get onto something that's got a long-term future like solar.
Going green. The Energy Solution comes up every morning, and if you're looking at installing a solar system on your home, especially in the Verde Valley, give our friends at Verde Solar Power a call. I'm Jeff DeMann for Meet the Merchants.